Hi everyone, I'm your host Heather Dawson and welcome to California Life, where we bring you the best of California. And this week, it's all about back to school and the best colleges. Well, Stanford tops the list for the best colleges in California, according to a new ranking by College Consensus. More students consider Stanford their dream college than any other institution, yet Stanford can only accept 5% of applicants and has at least 30 billionaire graduates to date. Ranking number 2 is Claremont McKenna College, also one of the top 5 colleges for salary potential and the second happiest college in America. Also part of the Claremont colleges, Pomona College is right behind CMC at number 3 with one of the highest percentages of diversity. Harvey Mudd College is number 4 in the state and stands alongside Caltech and MIT for the rate of graduates going on to PhDs. And Scripps College is one of the most elite women's colleges in the nation, coming in at number 5. Rounding out the top 10 is Cal Berkeley, UCLA, Caltech, Santa Clara University, and Pitzer College, also of the Claremont colleges. Well, how about starting off the school year with a new backpack from LA Dodger Cody Bellinger? Well, Bellinger helped give away kids backpacks and supplies, helping over 2,500 families. And that brings us to some of our back-to-school essentials with Justine Santanillo. Here's Audra Stafford.
$688. That's how much the National Retail Federation expects the average American to spend this year on back-to-school shopping. But with sales at pretty much every turn, where do you begin?
Really taking the time to sit down with your child and review their specific back-to-school list that the school provides you. That's your base, that's your guideline.
From there, lifestyle and trends expert Justine Santanillo suggests looking for items that allow your child to express their individuality. Something else you might want to pick up for your student, the green light card.
This time of year is the perfect time to teach kids about money management. So Greenlight is a smart debit card for kids that parents can manage from their phones. There are flexible parental controls that you can use to choose specific stores where your child can spend. You can also automate their allowances, send instant funds, and get real-time notifications on when and where your kids are spending. So you guys could get yours at greenlightcard.com.
When it comes to back-to-school spending, Santanillo recommends getting tools your student can use all the way through college.
Like the Texas Instruments TI-84 Plus CE graphing calculator. This model is thin, lightweight, and durable to withstand the busy on-the-go student lifestyle, and it's approved for important college entry exams like the PSAT, SAT, ACT, and most AP class exams. Plus, students love that they come in fun, new, and unique colors.
To keep up with all the homework and extracurricular activities that come with a new school year, it's important that your students stay healthy. So while you're out and about, Santanillo suggests you pick up some Clorox disinfecting wipes.
When you purchase cleaning solutions like these, be sure to upload your receipts at CloroxForSchools.com. For every $5 spent, the Clorox company will donate $1 to a classroom in need through DonorsChoose.org. So when you shop for supplies you need, you're also doing something good.
One of the best things you can do for your child is to send them off to school with a healthy lunch.
Coming up with those healthy lunchbox choices can be tough, so Walgreens wants to make finding healthy snacks easy. They've rebranded their Nice line with new products and ingredient standards to do just that. They now have more than 100 items to choose from, including organic and gluten-free options. And to make it easier than ever, the new product packaging includes a health corner that lists out the nutritional information about the product. And I think the most important thing is taking your child with you to shop together, because that gets them excited for the new year. You get the necessary items, but then you also get those fun, cool accessories as well.
Bringing you the best for back to school, I'm Audra Stafford for California Life.
And coming up on California Life, how safe are your children? Our next guest is dedicating his life to child safety, plus the real solution to lice and how parents can afford the must-have items for back to school. Plus see why each year thousands of students across the country compete for a chance to go to the National High School Musical Theater Awards in New York. Don't go away, it's all coming up right here on California Life. There's a website every parent needs to see as our kids head back to school. Find out how safe are your children. Family Watchdog founder joined me in studio to explain why he is dedicating his life to child safety. Well, whether or not you have heard of his website and what it offers, one thing is certain. By the end of this interview, FamilyWatchdog.us will be your family's best friend. Steve Roddle, the president and CEO of FamilyWatchdog.us, is in studio with us, and thank you so much for joining us, Steve.
Well, thanks for having me, Heather. Appreciate it.
And this is a topic that I think a lot of people don't like to always talk about, but it's so important. And that's, of course, children being molested and knowing where these sexual predators are. And that's, of course, the whole basis of your website.
Exactly.
And tell me a little bit about what FamilyWatchdog.us is.
It's a website where we go and we collect information from all of the Megan's Lost sites from all the states in the United States. And we present that information to people in the form of a map. So you can go in, and it's a free service. You go in, you just type in an address, a city name, a state, or a zip code rather, and we'll present you back with a map that shows where the sex offenders in that area live. You can then click on those dots and get information about the offender. So you can get photos, you can get the address where they live, you can get the convictions that they were, things they were convicted of.
So a lot more than really you can see on Megan's Law. I know that kind of just gives you the dot of where they're located.
Sure.
This is a little bit more information.
Right.
And you were telling me that this was something that you did on your own, mainly because when you went to look yourself, you found out there was somebody close by.
Right. In my own case in Indiana, if you remember back to last year when Jessica Lunsford was taken and killed by her neighbor, I went out to my Indiana registry and did a search and wasn't able to find anybody, and came to find out that I had someone that was 600 feet from my back door that I couldn't locate because the state had misspelled the street name when his information was entered. And so looking at that and just looking at how unusable the Megan's Law information was, we decided to go out and create this site where people would be able to go out, enter their address, rather than trying to search for offenders. I want to know what's around me.
Right, and your kids.
And my kids.
And you were also telling me about your cell phone, that this is something that, technology is advancing. That's your background, technology, which is one reason that you've been able to do this very, intensive site. But how are we going to see some changes?
Sure. Well, what we've done is here with our cell phone, we've actually created the FamilyWatchdog.us mobile application. So you can go in with any web-enabled cell phone, and you'll be able to do searches and find offenders that are in your area. And again, as with our web-based product, it's completely free. So anybody can go in and they can do searches and find potential threats to their families.
And really the only thing you can do as a parent and as a neighborhood, like you said, is to protect
Absolutely.
your kids. I mean, that's the only defense that we have, and that's what FamilyWatchdog.us does. And thank you so much for coming on our show. I think it's a wonderful message to get out, and every parent needs to check it out.
Oh, thanks. And again, we appreciate coming down.
And coming up on our Back to School specials, see why each year thousands of students across the country compete for a chance to go to the National High School Musical Theater Awards in New York. And the top things you need before heading back to school, plus how parents are budgeting for those expenses. Then if your child gets head lice, what do you need to do? A new survey shows millennial moms are worried about an infestation, but may not know how to treat one. We've got the details when we come back. For many, back to school also means back to rehearsals. Each year, thousands of students across the country compete for a chance to go to the National High School Musical Theater Awards in New York. California Life's Audra Stafford shows us how one regional competition is also promoting wellness through the arts.
I'm here outside the Balboa Theater, home to the annual Ben Vereen Awards, which showcase the best high school musical theater talent San Diego County has to offer. This year, 20 young men and women hit the stage, but just 2 made it to the national competition. Sky Frank.
I thought he was the wisest and the strongest and the best.
Jillian Stratman.
When you once unafraid wore your heart on your sleeve, and the one that you loved just turn and leave.
The Ben Vereen Awards also honored several students whose lives have been positively changed through the arts, including a young musician. You can tell a lot about a person from their hands. These hands belong to Jens Briscoe, a trumpet player at Rancho Bernardo High School. Like Jens, they're skillful, sure, of where they are and where they're going. But it wasn't always that way.
I thought, I'm probably the only person who feels like that.
Because the hands don't tell the whole story.
I found the word transgender in my 8th grade year, and I was like, oh, so that's the word for it.
It took about a year for Jens to break the news to his dad and stepmom.
I feel everybody has some fear because you don't know what's going to happen.
I was definitely very concerned, but the only thing I knew what to do was to be as supportive as possible.
This father's hands, strong, protective.
I worried about, being transgender, what kind of roadblocks that would be in his life.
There have been roadblocks, like when Jens asked to use the boys' locker room at school, and it led to a heated, headline-making debate.
They're like isolating me as if I was, like a freak or something.
There are also the everyday struggles just to fit in, like wearing a binder.
Because when you see a chest, you're like, oh, that's a girl. And I'm like, wait, no, please, no.
And educating people on the importance of using he and not she when talking about him.
Being called by the wrong pronoun just proves to me that I'm not passing. It's extremely depressing.
Fortunately, in addition to his parents, Jens has had the support of his teachers and classmates like Michael, and a creative outlet for his emotions.
Art is a big part of my life. It's helped me through a lot of really tough times. Whenever I'm feeling sad, I can draw it out. Or like play a very emotional piece.
Jens even found the inspiration for his name through his art.
I did get it from a trumpeter, Jens Lindemann. He just seemed very confident. He's somebody that I wanted to be like, and that's how I wanted to approach coming out, is just be confident, be myself,
That confidence, coupled with Jens' immense talent, caught the attention of legendary stage and screen star Ben Vereen.
Thank you for your courage.
Who invited him to perform at the 2017 Ben Vereen Awards as part of his Wellness Through the Arts initiative.
You're always like, my kid's special and no one knows it except for me. I mean, it just kind of validates that my kid's special,
And hitting all the right notes. For links to learn more about the Wellness Through the Arts initiative, the Ben Vereen Awards, or a regional competition near you, just visit our website, CaliforniaLifeHD.com. Bringing you the best of California from San Diego, I'm Audra Stafford for California Life.
Well, getting kids ready for the school year can represent a significant expense for families. Coinstar recently conducted a back-to-school survey to understand how parents are budgeting for those expenses. Alex Silva has more.
Back-to-school season is here, and for parents that means getting their kids ready for the school year. Coinstar, a leader in self-service coin counting, conducted a back-to-school survey of more than 2,000 U.S. parents to understand how they're budgeting for those expenses. The survey found nearly 60% of parents with school-age children have a back-to-school budget, and 50% of those surveyed thought school expenses were increasing year over year. The survey also revealed that nearly half expect to spend between $100 and $300 per child this coming school year. When considering how parents are allocating their back-to-school budget, the majority identified clothing as the top expense. This was followed by school supplies, extracurricular activities, electronics, and tutoring. Parents who think they might need a little extra money could turn to their coin jar. 71% of those surveyed say they save coins in a jar or container at home for future use. To learn more or to find a Coinstar kiosk location near you, visit Coinstar.com. That's Coinstar.com.
A new school year means new teachers, friends, clothes, and supplies for your children, but there's a chance the new routine could expose your family to a dreaded critter, head lice. William Yarbrough has a look at some of the ways to handle and treat a head lice infestation.
If your child gets head lice, would you know what to do? A new survey shows millennial moms are worried about an infestation, but may not know how to treat one.
Certainly get out a magnifying glass, or if they're not sure, rather than running out and buying a treatment that for a child who may not necessarily even have head lice, what they should do is call their healthcare provider.
Family nurse practitioner Wendy Wright says the first step is identifying an infestation.
So if a parent suspects that their child has head lice, the first thing that they should do is to look at the child's neck, the back of their neck, or behind their ears, because this is where head lice often are found.
One big issue with head lice is the stigma that it carries. In fact, 45% of the moms surveyed worried about their child being bullied because of head lice.
Head lice occurs in clean, healthy heads. It's actually not a condition of dirty children.
For more information on head lice, go to factsoflice.com.
According to the American Cancer Society, this year alone, more than 30,000 people in the U.S. will be diagnosed with multiple myeloma, a blood cancer that originates in the bone marrow, and more than 12,000 people will die from the disease. As science advances, cancer experts are exploring potential ways to work directly with the body's immune system, also known as immuno-oncology, to help fight multiple myeloma. California Life's Kaori Taki welcomes Dr. Berenson to our studio.
Hi, I'm in the studio today with Dr. James Berenson talking a very important subject, multiple myeloma. Could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, doctor?
Sure. I've been doing myeloma work for about 30 years, both in the lab and clinically. I've done a lot of clinical trials, including with Bristol Myers Squibb, that makes one of the products that we're working on called Implicity.
And what can you tell us about this product?
Well, Implicity is an antibody that helps harness the immune system, so-called new way of treating cancer called immuno-oncology. And what it's been shown to do is boost the effectiveness of two other drugs that have been used to treat myeloma effectively, called Revlimid and dexamethasone. And recently, data at the European hematology meetings has shown that when you add Implicity to the old gold standard, Revlimid and dexamethasone, you greatly extend the time during which the myeloma is under control. Myeloma is a bone marrow-based cancer. It occurs in plasma cells. It's a type of white cell. And since it's in the bone marrow, next to the bone, these patients commonly get into problem with bone problems like fractures, bone pain. They also may develop anemia, and sometimes the kidney's impacted as well.
Are there any symptoms that people can notice that they might have multiple myeloma?
Well, they're not that specific, but it's a good question. Since it affects the bones, it's bone pain or a fracture that may occur for no good reason, not say from a lot of trauma, but you just fracture suddenly. That can really be a tip-off that your bones are too thin. You may have myeloma. Sometimes the kidneys are impacted, so therefore you could have some nausea, feel tired. You can also have that happen from anemia, which can occur. But a lot of times it's found simply on routine blood testing. Your protein's level's high, and a lot of that protein's antibody, or you may present with a low blood count, you're anemic, or maybe just a routine kidney test, your kidneys are off, and then further inspection, you're found to have the myeloma.
Can be perfectly fine and once you're treated for myeloma?
Well, I won't say it's necessarily perfectly fine, but I always like to say the goal of my treatment should be not only to get rid of the myeloma, but it really should give the patient the longest life possible with the least impact, not only from the myeloma, but our drugs. And we often forget that drugs have side effects. And the good news is Implicity has very limited side effects compared to a lot of the other drugs we use. In fact, I think they're really limited, and I've done a lot of large studies on this, and basically about the only side effect is a rare patient can have an infusion reaction, but they're not severe like allergic reactions that would make you go to the hospital. They're pretty limited in their scope.
Well, thank you so much for joining us into the studio, and good luck with the journey. And to learn more, go to californialifehd.com or your website.
Or if you want to learn more about myeloma itself, you can go to imbcr.org, or if you want to learn more about Implicity, go to implicity.com. You'll learn all about the drug, its side effects, and its effectiveness, and how it's given.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kaori. Well, that's it for us here at California Life. Check out our new website, californialifehd.com, and don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I'm your host, Heather Dawson. We'll see you next time.
Watch us on our YouTube channel. Stay connected to our social media, like our blogs on Facebook. Follow our tweets on Twitter. And check out our posts on Instagram and Pinterest, where we bring you the best of California.